All right, welcome everybody. Patrick Rooney is here, and we're doing old school live Saturday night, or Saturday Night Live, however you like to say it. And we got some comments in there already. We were doing a little behind the scenes tweaking, so I didn't see the last comments. We will look at them soon. I'm going to bring my guests on soon as well. And let me tell you what today's show is going to be about, just to whet your appetite a little bit. We're going to talk about the Trump raid. How did conservatives become the tail and not the head? So we've got some stuff here. We're going to be talking about that. I might drop a little video tonight as well. Most of you are probably aware of what happened. The FBI raiding Trump's house. Really, it's Mar-a-Lago is his residence. It's a house. And I'm sure a lot of you were quite shocked about that and wondering what is going on in America. How low have we sunk here? So we're also going to talk a little bit about how did the conservatives become the tail and not the head of things? We're going to get into that as well. So I want to tell you about that. At any time, you can go to oldschoolus.com, oldschoolus.com. If you can't find me on this particular on YouTube, it's very possible they may do something to me at some point. They have done that in the past. And if at any point we do have, I am on Rumble as well, but I'm not doing live yet on Rumble. I don't know if I will be doing live on Rumble. So we will see how things work out as they go. Let me bring in my guests here. I think we had a little technical thing with one of the guests here, and I think he's back on. So let's see what's up. All right. Two of my guests are here. One of my guests just ran away, even though he's on screen right now. There he is.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
You guys know Martin Francis here, otherwise known as Mr. Miyagi. And also, cultural issue. Red flag. Can't say also anymore as a joke. And there's a new person on here that you may not know unless you are somebody who used to go to Bond Church in Los Angeles. GENARO del CIELO. How are you, GENARO?
Great, thank you. It's great to be here, Patrick.
It's awesome to have you on, and we're just going to have the three of us today, and you guys in the chat. And I'm way behind because I was doing a little technical stuff, and I didn't see the chat. So I'm going to have to go back and see how everybody. Hello in the chat. I already said hello to Mind Over Energy, who is holding down the chat. And just to go in the chat real quick, guys, just to say hello. Hello, Mind Over Energy. He's holding it down. Tibar is back. Hello, Tibar. Who else here? Gerard Perry is here. Excuse me. Hello, Gerard. Fabian made it. Fabian made it?
Fabian
what
made
happened?
It. Why isn't he on the show then?
Did he have sales real quick and he just
on the show, Fabian.
Left early? You want Fabian? Yeah, you should come on, man. You come on if you want to. Let me know if you want to, and then we'll have Mo send you a link and you can get on if you want.
Sue him for breach of contract, Patrick.
Yeah, I don't know when. I offer him to come on. I haven't had Martin or Fabian on for a little while, so I thought it might be good to get the old crew back on. And I was going to say, well, these guys are just going to fight each other, and I'm going to have to sit here and get a headache.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
You know what? There's some really interesting conversations on free will that brother Martin and Fabian. I haven't met him yet, but I have read his comebacks, and this is a really interesting conversation on free will.
It is.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done a show on this, or you did a video on it at least, Martin, right?
Yeah, I think we ourselves did a little sparring on his show, but it was a little more friendly because I got a little more friendly.
Yeah, that's right. And so that is something. Again, I'm always like, I always figured Martin might just drop this on us at any moment and take over the show with a free will versus, are you a slave to sin or to God kind of thing.
Well, Patrick, I have since evolved from a one-trick pony to a two-trick pony.
Good. Well, you're on the same level as Fabian now. Ooh, Now Fabian's going to have to get on here to defend himself. We've already got comments. I'm going to put up a comment just for fun to start with. J. Herb is on, and J. Herb says we're talking about Trump here, of course, tonight. The FBI agents at the raid work in the counterintelligence division that launched the Russia hoax. Yeah, I saw that this afternoon, Jay. I was going to put that up on the screen, but now that you made that comment, I don't need to try to fish that thing out and put it up on the screen. Now, so let that sink in. Trump gets raided by the FBI, right? They apparently work in the same division that launched the Russia hoax.
I got better evidence.
And they're being apparently investigated by John Durham.
Trump's lawyers said that they have certification proving that none of the documents removed were classified.
Well, Trump said he declassified all of them.
Yeah, even if they were, it wouldn't matter.
Certification,
which he could do. Oh, they have this. Okay, if they have the certification, that's great. Yes. But his as the commander in chief, he can declassify whatever he wants.
Right. That's what he does.
Yeah.
So here's Fabian. Trump's been mentioned, and here comes Fabian. I'm already going to pull some guys before we're even out of the gate here. We're all over your comments. So, what do you say? You guys are like the third guest tonight, right? Okay, I'm gonna bring your comment up, Fabian. Come on, we know you're after him. All right, Trump is in league with the devil, gaslighting us all, an objective mass murder. So how can he be the head? Impossible. Well, what I'm saying here is, this is not about Trump. My opinion, this is not about Trump at all.
You should know that.
Yeah, it's not about the man. It's about the principle.
The principle.
If the FBI can come in and raid Trump, they can raid anybody. That's my whole point.
Yes, especially on the lies that they're raiding him on. It's not like, oh, Trump took some nuclear secrets, which is what they're trying to insinuate. Oh, he's got the launch codes or something. He's going to give to Russia.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a lot about it. A lot of it is, of course, fear-based, and that's exactly the cloud that they want to put over Trump when they mention nuclear documents.
Yes.
Yeah, they're still trying. Yes.
No, nuclear. Like what is he going to do with the nuclear? Like he's going to he has documents that he's going to give away, or someone's going to see them and they're going to cause a nuclear cloud or something? What are they talking about?
Well, that's a good question. In regards to that, that's finally going to come out on the affidavit that's not out yet. The affidavit's going to explain the motive for them to actually do this. Now, from what I've been hearing and doing a little research, this could be a major, a lot of people will say that's a major Democrat screw up, but some people out there may have done some research and that the Democrats are doing this for Article U.S. Code 2071, which means that any government official who tampers with evidence, conceals it, mutilates it, or
hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Go ahead. I think he's being smart. Go, just go finish it.
Yeah.
I know when you're being smart, Martin.
Right. That he can no longer apply in office. He's disqualified. If he is found guilty of this, he's disqualified from further office work. Now that is an actual code. The only thing is that the presidents are exempt from that. The president is the only individual that's allowed to declassify classified material.
Right.
So that could be a screw up, because a lot of people were quoting this code in the Democrat side as saying, "Oh, this is it. He can no longer qualify because of this." But they were unaware, and so now it's been fact checked, and the president is exempt from that. The other thing, it could be that they were looking for January 6th information.
Right.
Anything related or anything at all.
That's what they were doing. They were just fishing. And
see this. This is like a fishing pole.
Correct.
Okay? January 6th. The whole January 6th thing is a total joke. I mean, it's just like a dog and pony show, which only has certain people up there testifying, only for certain purposes, only to go against the Trump side, when in reality, we should be asking the government side to explain themselves. Why did they apparently aid and abet this whole situation and basically set up a honeypot for people to come in and cause mischief. Why do they have guys that are likely?
But nobody caused any mischief, Patch. That's
no,
the
they
whole
did.
thing.
They had some
Everybody came in and was doing selfies. That's the mischief. They were walking around admiring the place and taking selfies.
100 people or so. You're talking about this the January 6th.
On the outside of the building,
January
chaos.
On the inside, there was around 100 people or so. It wasn't, like 1,000 people or anything like that.
There were some people. There were some people
just walking.
Yeah.
There were some people acting stupid, and that's fine. But
I mean, the guy with the Viking hat just say it in itself. They were just there acting stupid. Just it was just
acting stupid peacefully. They weren't
listen.
Anything crazy. They weren't damaging anything. They were just walking around.
Here is the outrageousness of January 6th. I said it before. I'll say it again. They've got people that they just pulled in, didn't charge with nothing, stuck them in a DC dirty, rotten jail.
Frozen a little bit. Yeah. But he was right in the middle of.
Hey, when you were talking,
let them get abused. Wow, we just lost our thing for a minute here. Okay, and some of these prisoners have been there without even being charged for what, a year and a half or something.
Yeah,
that is a crime. That to me, that means the people who are running this January 6th things and the people who have done this are the ones should be investigated, and if found guilty, they should be in jail.
Patrick, this goes right along about being the head and not the tail.
Yes.
Right now, the Democrats are of course the head, because they're making all the decisions. They're deciding the fate of everyone, and it's kind of like a shame, and we can talk about the reasons why. But I don't see the same resolve in the Republicans. The best thing we got Comey, but other than that, they do impeachments. Well, granted, right now we don't have the Senate and we don't have both sides. But when we will, I want to see that same type of resolve. I want to see that same type of fire from Republicans. Because,
why? Okay, let me ask a question that's come up then. Why do Democrat lefties have more fire than most Republicans?
Because this is their religion. Politics is their religion. They live for politics. That's their God. Fame, fortune, power. That's what they live for. That's
Miyagi. That's a great answer, Mr. Miyagi.
What?
I said that's a great answer, Mr. Miyagi.
Oh, thank you.
Why are they more violent? Pretty much.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, you can say they're really angry, but when you say this is your religion, that really pops on something, because they do live by this. There's a lot of people. I was just having a discussion with family tonight, kind of an argument discussion / about prayer. And my wife thought that I was saying on other shows that I didn't believe in prayer so much, because I said I was kind of putting people down who only pray and don't do works. But I do believe in prayer, completely believe in prayer.
Yeah.
And even on its own, if necessary. I'm just saying you should act. But if there's situations where you need God's help, obviously prayer by itself works. Just to clear that up for anybody else who may not get that.
Okay, Patrick, you just sounded a little too. You didn't sound like a Navy SEAL Christian. You sound a little bit more churchy like. For instance, when you pray, that sets you up to take action. See, and you become empowered.
Dang, what's with our feed tonight, man? He just froze. So that's what the government's doing. See, they're raiding Trump, and they're freezing my connection here. I don't know, but I know. Let me finish his argument for him since he's not here. Okay. Oh, we lost you, man. You might. Can you hear me, GENARO?
Yes, I can.
And you lost me, Martin. You can't hear me?
I can't hear Martin.
Martin, you might have to come out and come back in again. I don't know. Unmute. Hang on. Hey, Martin? Martin? I just unmuted him. I can't unmute it. You got to unmute your mic.
There I go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did you have to unmute? Did you have to unmute your own mic?
Yes.
Yeah. See, Gennaro, if you lose it, we're doing behind the scenes stuff here.
Let me tell you why that happened, Patrick. I got some kind of phone call or something came in and knocked me out of this mic. And so I didn't, I had to reset my own mic.
Okay. I think that what you guys have to, are you guys on phone at all?
No,
I am.
When you're on phone, listen, this is behind the scenes stuff that nobody probably cares about but us, but you got to put yourself on airplane mode.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
That way you won't get knocked out.
Sorry about that.
You can do it now if you're able. Well, no, you can't really, huh? Okay.
Well, I'd have to get off the show to do
it. Nah, forget it. Anyway, don't call Martin right now, please.
Yeah, I'd have to get off the show to do it.
Okay, I know what you're going to say, what you already started to say. If you pray, you're going to automatically do the works.
I know, it just sets you up for it because it frees you from your thoughts and your conscience guides you, and your conscience is going to make you do works.
So
there's no separation between prayer and works.
So why did Peter have to tell Christians to make sure to do the works and don't just be a prayer?
He was talking to the ones who are still confused, who maybe aren't praying consistently. And so they're on again, off again. And you don't know when it comes to people writing things down, they may have not got it completely right, what Paul was actually trying to say. Faith.
He's like
man.
He was probably going to give us the real key.
Yeah, this is the key to the universe that Miyagi has here, and all of a sudden he goes dead on us.
Faith.
All right, I'm gonna have
prayer.
to throw. Did you want to?
True
I'm
faith
gonna have to throw
causes you to act.
I got comments here. I got everything. Did you want to say anything while we're waiting for him?
Yeah, you don't have to enhance your faith with works.
Did you know? Wait. Did you know you're off the air for a while? Then you kind of came on.
I did.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Do you know why you keep going off?
No. Well, what I'm seeing is all three of us went off.
This time it's just you. A lot of times you're freezing. I know this is making wonderful live show here.
A text message
for people,
or anything coming in that knocked me out. I don't know why I got knocked out.
All right, we need to upgrade somehow. Our guys, we need some donations to Old School, so we got to upgrade our materials here. Okay, oldschoolus.com. Donate. Thank you.
That's right.
Plug, shameless plug. All right, go ahead, Martin. I'm sorry. Try it again.
Yeah, so you don't have to be concerned about, now I need to add works to my faith. And that's the way the Christians think, most of them, and they don't know what the heck's going on.
Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to disagree strongly because you are of the mind, it seems, that prayer solves everything and solves it. It may be maybe eventually, but in the short term, it doesn't solve everything in the short term.
Of course not, but it's progressive.
Okay, this is why. Wait a minute. This is why we have to talk to each other. Sometimes we have to correct each other. All your correction is not coming from your prayer. It's coming from things that happen during the day and things like that. So sometimes people have to be told because they're so locked into old-fashioned, Christianity, where prayer is good, which I agree. But a lot of people think that politics is dirty now. And there's so many people, even Christians, who won't vote. They're not involved in politics or whatever.
That's an excellent point, Patrick. When someone corrects you, now I'm an expert at being corrected and hating it. Okay. So when someone corrects you, if you are praying, eventually you will love that correction and you will come around to it. So like you said, during the day when you are getting your corrections, either directly from people or just from the situation when you screwed it up, right?
Yes.
That will cause you to, that will give you a little humility. And since you prayed, you have the ability to absorb that punch.
It does. It helps.
You don't run away from correction.
You're right. So there's prayer, which might be done up to, Martin is a big proponent of doing like an hour in the morning, hour at night.
I am.
But the fact of the matter is, even if you do so, you still have 22 hours left in the day. Now, a lot of that is
22 hours.
Now, so hopefully your prayer is working on you there, but there's things that are going to come up that are going to wake you up that, yes, because you pray, I think you're more liable to be woken up.
That's right. You will. That's my point.
Okay. Fair enough. Now Fabian, I'm not going to read all of his stuff. He definitely anti-Trump stuff. And now we have David Cracchiolo, who's now using his own name. That's very brave of you. David. Finally, right on. Well, you stepped up to the real name club. And Trump said, David says Trump is the Christ. So he's just trying to tweak Fabian now and have Fabian freak out some more so Fabian can go nuts again.
Don't do that to Fabian.
And Fabian said, but Trump is in your title. Yes, I am talking about Trump because he's in the news, but the principle is not about Trump. Okay.
That's right.
Let me bring in a video to give you guys, oops, I hit the wrong key. It's horrible. Let me bring in something here to just give you guys a little bit more background. This is one of Trump's lawyers on Jesse Waters' show. Let's bring that in.
Nice.
For President Trump, and she joins me now. So, Elena, when the president saw this massive amount of stuff that they took, pretty much everything at the club, I'm surprised he still has silverware there. What was his reaction?
Nothing. He's like, oh, it's a Monday, Alina. It's a Monday in Trump world. Honestly, nothing. He was confused as to why they were there. He had just seen them in June. They had said everything's fine, but could you put another lock on it? We'll be good. You know what, Jesse, in my opinion, the Jan 6th ratings, the show of Jan 6 hasn't been going so well. They needed a little drama, so they throw this out there. They go to the judge that had recused himself in my Hillary case a month ago. I would like to know why he recused himself in that case, but then he was able to sign this warrant. I want to know that.
But this guy, he'll get waken up in the middle of any night and just sign whatever piece of paper the feds put in there in order to go after Mar-a-Lago. I don't get it. Did the president pack any boxes himself? Was he taping boxes in the White House?
Yeah. He was with FedEx boxes, taping. That's what he did the last. No. I mean, it's absurd. He declassified documents. He was coordinating with NARA. And at the end of the day, don't forget, Jesse, we now know for a fact this is about documents that he's allowed them access to. So explain to me why you tell someone to put an extra lock on, leave for almost 2 months, get a warrant, sit for a weekend, have a cocktail, and then show up again, guns a-blazing, without even informing the local police.
That's a good question, by the way, Gennaro.
Yeah.
If this thing was so urgent and all this nuclear stuff, Martin is back.
Thank you.
I don't know what happened to you, Martin, but again.
I heard the whole video.
Good. So that's a key here. Okay, if this thing is so urgent, why did they see him in June? They came down to Mar-a-Lago. They were there. They told him to put an extra lock on the door or whatever. Yeah. They had access to the information. And now all of a sudden they're screaming about nuclear, trying to scare people. I think, as you said, Gennaro, earlier, trying to scare people by talking about nukes and stuff, like we're in some kind of a nuclear situation because Trump has some stuff down in Mar-a-Lago. If it was so urgent, why did this go from June to nothing else happening in the meantime? And all of a sudden now we're in August and now it's urgent. It just sounds like total BS.
And Patrick, like you said, Patrick, he was cooperating, and they had asked him. The archive department had asked him to put a lock, and they even specified what type of lock for him to put on there. He puts it on there, and a week after he puts it on, they break that very same lock to access his information. This is another thing that I've also found out. There was cameras in the Mar-a-Lago, so there is captured. They were
residents.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yes. There was cameras in the Mar-a-Lago residence.
Right, and to my understanding, the FBI asked to recover it, and to take it. There was a dispute whether they were going to give it or not. I don't know now who has it. To be frank with you, I don't know if they still have it, but there was cameras.
They did have some. Interesting.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, let me finish. I lost Martin again, but I'm going to finish up here.
Mind you, which is normal course. Just show up. He wasn't even there. We know he's not there. Everyone in the world knows where he is at all times. It makes no sense.
I agree with that. The only difference I would have with that is that it makes all the sense in the world if you're on a fishing expedition, right? And you're trying to get Trump, and the January 6th hearings aren't working too well, right? And you don't want Trump to ever run again, obviously. you either want to put him in jail to really send Trump's people off the deep end. If you put him in jail, you would be tempting them to rise up, is what you'd be doing. But even if they didn't put him in jail and just say you can't run anymore, these guys, Trump has a lot of faults, but I'll tell you, and I'll say this to even major Trump critics, they're afraid of this guy for something. I'm not saying he's got a lot of faults, but he is not, in my opinion at this point, clearly is not one of them. Can we safely say that at this point?
Yeah, 100%.
Martin, you're off again. I do not hear you. Can't hear you. I don't know what happened to Martin. And I can't unmute you, man. You got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, he's muted. I can see that he's muted.
Yeah. I didn't realize that thing. The mic had gone off.
Yeah, you have to unmute yourself again if you go off. I don't know what's wrong with your connection, but it's pretty horrible tonight. But all of our connections are a little suspect tonight, but yours happens to be the worst for some reason.
Wow. It's my internet. It keeps telling me my internet connection is bad.
Don't take it personal, okay?
So I'll have to do something to fix that.
All right. Well, anyway, Jay says that the Dems are trying to send a message to Trump and the next Trump. Yeah. Don't even think about running again. Absolutely. Okay. Let me see. Let me go on. Let me take a few comments too, guys, because we've been on for a little while and there's so many comments piling up. I haven't even seen most of them. Let me see.
Trump needs to get, I don't know if he's done it, but he needs to make sure he's got physical security down really well, because I don't doubt these people will try to kill him.
Yeah, if they can't stop him legally or by any semi-legal means, they're gonna, God knows how they're gonna try it. And again,
this may only bring DeSantis in. It just seems like
if they keep him out, DeSantis gets in. But this helps Trump right now, which I totally understand, and you can look at that in many different angles. Fabian, I'm putting you on a lot tonight. I know you're working. That's why you're not here. I'm going to, if I get mad at you, I'm going to tell your employers. No, I'm just kidding. Fabian says many conservatives are falling further into the trap of Trump idolatry. Unfortunately, go DeSantis. Well, people are kind of naturally backing Trump right now because he's under attack. I mean, it's a very natural thing to do. I get what Fabian's saying. DeSantis is a guy I would rather have.
Fabian's still making this about Trump.
It isn't about Trump. Trump. I agree. It's not about Trump. Yes, his name is in the title because I'm trying to get people to see this show so they can come in and watch it. Okay. But and I'm telling you about the Trump situation to show you what they are doing to a U.S. citizen.
Patrick.
Under very questionable, in a very questionable situation. All right. Here's Jim Turner. And Jim says Trump was going to give, okay, good. This is somebody I think from the other side. Trump was going to give our nuclear, listen to this, guys. And I'm not trying to make fun of Jim. Is it Turner? I think Jim Turner. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I like to hear people with a different point of view, but I want you to hear this. Here's a different point of view. If you think that everybody should see what's going on, everybody doesn't see this and they see other things. Jim Turner says Trump was going to give our nuclear defense secrets to Russia. The Russians would then have destroyed us in nuclear war. Now, in all fairness, do people really think that he was going to give our nuclear defense secrets to Russia?
No, I would say in all fairness, the average person would not think that. That's my take on it. What do I base it on? I think that people are starting to see that there is an establishment that is unfair,
Of course,
I mean, this is people in the middle, and that's pretty much all the people that we need. We're not going to get a certain percent of the pie who are just stuck hard and who they're always going to take the antithesis. No matter what, you can have the most clever argument. They're just going to. It's all a game. It's not a game of really arriving at the truth. It's just me winning the argument, but not necessarily coming to what truth is.
I had the same discussion today with family. It's not about getting everybody on your side. Martin, are you frozen again in time? Frozen in time. I can't help you if you're frozen in time. He's gone again. Yeah, it's not about getting everybody. It's about what I think is going on here is the possible uniting of people who love freedom. It's not uniting them necessarily behind Trump. Okay, Martin, I see you back there again, but I don't see you.
Patrick, can I say something about that, please?
Please, go ahead.
Okay. The gender issue, the how the crazy left is saying that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man and doesn't know what a woman is. Let me tell you, there's a lot of Democrats who are looking at that and they're saying, we're not on board with this. They're not, and they're not. Yeah. That's another issue where, like you said, where the people at large are starting to see, and when they're starting to see how the FBI and this falls in their faces again, and it looks embarrassing for them. It's just going to help Trump. It just seems it's gonna,
okay. Here's a question, because you just ran into a question that we were talking about today. I was kind of arguing for the wake up argument. Martin, you're back again. Thank you.
Yes.
I was arguing the wake up argument. Like, okay, enough people see something at a certain point, it wakes more people up. That's okay, right? Now, we would all love to see people wake up a little quicker. Hello, just had an election here that was pretty.
Yes, and it's starting to happen. It's starting to happen with surprisingly a lot with the Latino community. That's another example. The example I said to you, they're still traditional at heart, even though that that they vote a Democrat. Many of them are still trying to live up to traditional values, and they see this gender thing. Not only that, there was a lot of Latinos who were firemen, police officers, and all that in the workforce. And when the vaccine mandates came out, it impacted them greatly, and they were upset. They were upset at Joe Biden.
On YouTube. You got to call it the shot, because we're in Soviet Union here. Well, Soviet Union has more freedom of press right now, I think, than we do. Not Soviet Union, Russia.
I get it.
And you're right. You're right.
You're starting to see a lot of big numbers from people waking up, like you're saying, that are not necessarily Republicans, and starting to look at the other direction.
Yes.
Because, easy questions like mandates and the gender issue is big. It's really big among Hispanics, and it's big in the Black community too.
Yeah, and a lot of people are waking up. The question is, are we going to get control of our electoral process? Or are they just going to be able to play games behind the scenes still and take elections? I don't know the answer to that yet. But go ahead, Mark.
The answer is yes. In the blue states, especially California, they have that whole election rigged. They don't really need to. They're 70% Democrats, but they'll do it.
Oh,
he's right though.
If they have the control of the apparatus. Would the Democrats have control of the electoral apparatus in many states?
Ballots, the mailing ballots, and the process of mailing ballots, collecting ballots, all of that. You're absolutely right. The machinery of our voting machinery, they're in control of that. It makes it nearly impossible to get an honest election.
Yeah, and even in red states, I'm in a red state here. Okay, I'm in Florida.
I heard.
Okay. Mail-in ballots are way over the top. They're used everywhere now. Good. Yeah. Hopefully you heard a little bit of it, because you were out of commission again.
Yeah.
Mail-in ballots. You're right about what you said. We just kind of took off on it. Mail-in ballots are used everywhere in every state, and lengthy election times. You have this stupid early voting, and it goes on for a week at a time. Then you have mail-in ballots, which are obviously rife with fraud. They're trying to put an emergency in with this monkeypox thing so that they can easily use mail-in ballots easier during the election cycle when we get to November.
Correct.
It's really sick. So people, listen, I'm asking you, wake up. Is obviously you've been told to wake up or pleaded with to wake up. This is why I harp on this stuff all the time about the works thing. If you need a little extra help besides your regular prayer to realize that you need to be involved in politics or involved in something physical to help your country, please consider that. Because if you don't do certain things, the Democrats, as you say, Martin, that's their religion. They're into this stuff. They're the ones who know how to do the polling. They're the ones who have created a lot of this bad election law, especially around COVID. Okay, we have to wake up to this and get control. We need more poll workers, more poll watchers, more people doing many physical things. But I'm just talking, we're in election season right now, so I'm kind of pushing this right now. Mm-hmm. We need to unite the clans also here. Okay, you've ever heard of the expression "unite the clans"?
No.
Okay, it basically means the people that are one part of the Republican Party, people that are another part of the Republican Party, independents, Democrats who are waking up, people who love freedom in one way or another need to come together. Okay, and I'm going to try to make this point. If Martin, I hope you can stay with us for this because I think you're going to enjoy this next very short.
Patrick, I don't see you on my, with my GENARO. Do you see Patrick?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay, I don't.
You got to upgrade, man. Monday morning, man, you got to call and yell at somebody who's got you hold of your internet.
Yeah.
You got to take it to the next level, bub.
But I mean, I am back. I just don't see you, Patrick.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm going to bring in a video file, a very quick one about uniting the clans, and hopefully you can see this too, Martin, because I think you'll appreciate it. Let me see if we can find it here. Here it is. Let me see. And here we go.
If we join, we can. Now is our chance. Now. If we join, we can win. If we win, well, then we'll have what none of us have ever had before. A country of our own. Unite us. Unite us. Unite the clans.
Who was that, Bruce? What was the name of the guy that he was talking to?
The Bruce.
The Bruce.
The Bruce.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's it. That was the Bruce who came back. For all of you, there's no spoiler alert on this movie because if you haven't seen this movie by now, what have they given you? 25 years or something in order to see the movie? So
that betrayal was crazy.
Yeah, it was. But the ultimate comeback of the Bruce was so awesome. When he what's the word? Got it all back.
Oh, redemption.
Because he went so far down into the gutter, into the depths of his soul for what he did, that he couldn't take it, that he said, I'm not stepping back another step. The rest of my life, you'll never see me do that again. And Fabian was on another show and talked about that, where he went so far back in his life where he realized, I'm not taking another step back. Did you see that, Martin? Did you see the video I just showed?
No.
Oh, watch the replay is all I can tell you, buddy.
What replay of what?
Of this show.
But what did you show exactly?
It was Braveheart clip. It was
I've seen Braveheart.
It was the Unite the Clans clip.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I'm going to go back to comments a little bit. You guys can say things if you want. I don't want to hold you back, but I'm going to go to comments too. Go ahead if anybody wants to say something.
Well, I would like to talk about, a lot of interesting stuff has been accomplished in me, but recently I saw this video by this other guy. He's like another Roy Masters, and he's like a German, Eckhart Tolle or something.
Yeah, Eckhart Tolle. He's been around for a while.
Yeah, I saw a video clip where he was explaining things, and he came around to talking about the little voice that we all hear in our head.
Yes.
And he put some emphasis or taught some couple things that made me, on my next meditation, I got like a fright fest because I was taking, those little quibblings. We become so used to it, we don't realize how deeply diabolical and very hateful that the devil is to us. Yes. When he gives us just these little thoughts that seem harmless, go downstairs and eat some food, that you're not supposed to eat, or just anything, right? Even stuff that's true. He'll give you a scripture, whatever. We don't really realize because the voice doesn't sound like this. There's no. It sounds like us. It sounds like us. So we don't really understand how deeply hateful this spirit is to us, and is always on us to try to make us trip up.
Brother Martin, let me say a little story about that, because let me tell you what it reminds me of.
What?
I remember a while back, years ago, I was working at this call center, and I was talking to my coworker who sat right in front of me, was an ex-gang member. And one day he came in, and I could see he was really distraught. And I was talking to him, what's going on? And he just mentioned to me what he was going through. And I told him, hey, well, I suggested to him, be still and know. I gave him a cassette because I was concerned about him. He was a good guy, but I can tell he was he was in a bad place. So he takes Be Still and Know, and then I gave it to him on Friday. I came on Monday really anticipating his feedback, what he was going to say.
Yeah.
I come back, and he had this terrified look on his face, and he goes, he gave me the cassette. There were cassettes back then. It was the real vintage Roy's Be Still and Know.
Yeah.
And I go, what happened? He could do it. He goes, dude, I had the most horrible nightmares. Take that thing away from me. He said, and then I go, wait a minute. I go, that's great. All that stuff is going to come up. People have no idea how much is in them, throughout.
Well, if you're not warned,
good story,
though,
Gennaro.
Yeah, go ahead.
And unfortunately, I could not, and to the best of me, convince him to go forward. He was just terrified talking to me. I was trying to explain to him, because being through it yourself, you want to help people because you've been through it. Only somebody who's been through alcoholism can help somebody through alcoholism, not somebody who has a diploma on how to help somebody with alcoholism. But I remember doing the best that I can, and no, he was just terrified of him. So some people will have an aversion to being still. Some people will.
Yeah, they do. Go ahead, Martin.
Gennaro, to tell you the truth,
Go ahead.
He became afraid of something that's really just movie theater horror stuff. Big deal. A little nightmare. Big deal.
You know what, though?
Even if it was a serious nightmare, the real horror is when you see that you are allied deeply to evil. That's the real horror. That's the real horror, and what makes you want to jump out of your skin when you're doing the observation exercise. The little nightmares at night where a monster's chasing you, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, but you know what, though? In the beginning, if you haven't, it's a little dicey because it's like you almost have to warn somebody a little bit. And Roy Masters used to do that sometimes. Like I think even in his tape, he would say, "Hey, before you do this, and realize you might see a few unsettling things or whatever." It's like you got to give people a little bit of warning. It helps because
thanks a lot, Gennaro.
But you kind of do on the one hand, you don't want to scare people off from doing something that could save their spiritual life.
No, right? I didn't tell him anything. I remember telling him, do this, practice it, and I think it can help you out. And he did. He practiced it, and the weekend over, he just had this terrified look, and he told me very vivid, horrible nightmares he had that wouldn't stop. After he would go back to sleep, he said they would continue.
Yeah, Patrick's right. Now, you know how when you're watching like Fox News, and then you see commercials come on about a certain drug that will heal you from a something, you say, wow, that's a miracle drug. What you should have done is you should have taken the next half a minute of your advertising to tell him all the different side effects.
Well, they generally do, but they didn't with the vaccine though. They didn't tell you. But I don't want to shift that subject.
But just before we move from that, I want to say too, all of us, and I didn't really give you a proper intro, Gennaro, so sorry. But Gennaro, along with Martin, these are guys. Well, I knew Martin since the days I used to go to Roy Masters Church many years back and decades back. I've known him from that long. And Martin was, we were friends at Bond for years and worked together at Jesse Peterson's church, and for many years. And Gennaro used to go to Bond as well for a long time. So all of us, I think, have done the Be Still and Know observation prayer, call it whatever you want to call it, right? Go ahead,
Patrick.
Gennaro.
Let me just add that I was listening to Roy before I listened to Bond.
I thought you might have. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I was listening to Roy when I was 18.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Way back, when he was here in Venice.
I remember that.
He was like a dad to me. I grew up. He was my dad growing up, actually.
I remember. That's cool.
Yeah, same here, Gennaro. I started listening around 22, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So
go ahead. Yeah. I really quickly just want to say I met this person at the ranch who also told me about Bond, and that's how I became acquainted with Bond, and that's how I met you.
Okay, the ranch is a place in Southern Oregon that Roy Masters used to have a ranch. Well, they still have a ranch up there, right? Because his sons still run it and all that.
Yeah, beautiful place.
It is beautiful. I've been there, and it's beautiful. If they want more information on that, on his meditation, which we've all done and got a lot of benefit from, you can go to antidoteforall.com, antidoteforall.com.
And can I give a warning about that?
Yes.
Patrick, I mean, to all you people who are just starting up, or even you people who have been doing it for a while, but you do it for like 7 minutes, like somebody I know. Anyway, not you two guys on the screen, somebody else.
Yeah, I know.
I'm serious. You're
going to build up. You're going to build up time.
That just like Eckhart Tolle said, no, it wasn't Eckhart Tolle. It was that other genius. Who was that psychiatrist? Carl Jung. Carl Jung said that self-discovery involves a lot of pain. Be ready for pain. You should be. Yes, because you're going to be going through boredom and can I
add to that?
Martin? Please.
Do. I just want to add a bit to that. Usually when there's a quiet before the storm, before something is revealed upon you. When you're doing the be still and know, and you're learning to not to be quiet, but to be aware of the quietness that's already there. Not that you're creating it, you're just being aware of it. And you become very quiet, and you begin to see that those thoughts that you've been listening in your head are not you, and that it sounds like you. But then the question should be, and this is a taboo question: who are you? That's the real question that the meditation ultimately brings you to. And once you know who you are, you know that you're not this ego self, this traumatic condition of self that came in through the environment or through bad parents, but you're something apart from that. You're a spiritual presence that's looking at that, and that that is who you are, and ultimately a pure
right.
Pure
I agree. Let me because I have people listen to me from all walks of life. I have people who are political allies. I have people who are fellow Christians. I have people who don't agree with me, and I like to hopefully this show we can break things down and make things easily understood by just about anybody. So the way I see meditation is Christian meditation is a concept that I think scares certain people in certain Christians because they don't see it talked about openly in the Bible. You can see it written about in the Bible, but it's kind of it's not real obvious. Okay. But I know that Christians were meditating all the way back to Jesus. I'm sure Jesus was meditating.
It's in the scripture.
It is in the scripture.
Yeah, you can see why it would be removed. Ultimately, if you wanted to control the people, you would remove the means by which they know themselves or become to understand themselves.
Yes.
Where they can truly repent and truly be born again and truly not sin anymore.
Right. Yes. And so it's really important. Martin talks about it a lot. Fabian talks about it when he's on. I talk about it. I want to make things accessible to people too. And I'm not saying that people have to do the exact procedure when they pray. People can pray the way they wish. Okay. All I'm telling you is it does help at the very least to be still sometimes, and don't always, if you're somebody who's used to saying a lot of worded prayers, I'm not against worded prayers, but I think it's only part of the picture of a spiritual tool. There are many spiritual tools. Meditation, silent meditation is a very powerful spiritual tool. And I want people to remember that because we're talking here about, I'm trying to talk to people who are coming in from different ways and not knowing. Reading the Bible is a good tool also. These are different tools. And I want to say this because I've been thinking about this for a long time. I wanted to get this out on this show today. I believe that the meditation, as kind of rediscovered by Roy Masters, but known for centuries, is very important in this day and age where we're so connected to our tablets and our phones and
the blue screen,
that we're so connected to the noise. When you watch a movie, when you watch a TV show and you're bombarded with commercials, one after the other, and such fast. When you watch a movie these days, it's much different than movies in the old days. Movies in the old days would show you stuff, but they would come in kind of slower. Now movies today just bombard you with images beyond where you even have the ability to really see, you know what I mean? Like to even kind of prevent all the stuff from going in. So meditation, I believe, is a super important tool. Okay. That being said, I want to remind you that back in the day, we had a lot of people who probably didn't meditate all that much, but we still had Christians in this country who by and large were blessed by God. And we were a much more blessed country at that time. We didn't have all these abortions. We didn't have all the gender reassignment surgeries. We didn't have the fake shots. We didn't have all of the mind control that's going on today. So meditation today is a great tool, but I want to remind people too today that meditation is not the only tool. That people were doing things back in the day that were very, very important that we're not doing today very much. We're not reading the Bible much anymore. We're not acting right today, for lack of a better term. I know Martin would have loved to comment on that. I'm going to let you, because Martin is out of the picture. Go ahead, Gennaro.
Yeah, no, I agree. Traditionally, I think in Hebrew law, it was spirituality came down through the man, the father, right?
Yes.
And I find it interesting that Jesus used the term father a lot. It's important that I think that's where the real issue. I think the real issue that caused us to be in this mess is the relationship that we're having with the men and women relationship, and it's not godly, and because of that, it's causing ungodly children. And I think if you can fix that, if men can learn to, including myself, if we can learn to not be so womanly oriented in the sense that it isn't the most important thing in the world, even though the culture teaches us that, unless you get married or unless you shack up, you're not living. It isn't.
I agree with that. I want to add something too, and Martin will want to say something too. Yes, we were involved in Bond, and they talked about rebuilding the man and all that. Very important stuff. I agree with that. But there's another element here that we have to remember in this modern time. The devil and his minions, whatever you call them, his assistants, hell has been opened up at some point. I'm convinced of that. Hell has been opened up in this last century, in the 20th century. We had more wars. We had more people, millions of people killed under communism, under fascism with Hitler, under Mao Zedong. We had millions of people killed starting in the 1900s. Never happened until that decade, until that 100-year period. And now I think it's even worse. But at some point, I believe that the hell has been opened up and has been unleashed on the world. And we need every tool in our toolbox. That's why meditation is such an important tool, because it's probably the one tool that people don't think much about. In addition to, I would say, physical work. Physical work, we're supposed to be working physically, at least with part of our time, which we don't do anymore. It has a spiritual benefit even greater than the physical benefit. I yield my time to Martin.
I had something I was going to say, and now it slipped my mind.
You can dance if you want.
I yield my time to Gennaro.
Okay, go ahead, Gennaro, and I'll look for comments. Sorry, guys, I'm so behind on comments. I don't even know how to fix it at this point. Go ahead.
Was there a question? Was there a question in there, Patrick?
Well, see, Gennaro don't have anything either, so go to comments, Patrick.
All right, let me see what we got. I'm going to have to go backwards here because I got so behind that I got to go to the most recent comments here. Yes, this world is in deep trouble, Fabian. Absolutely. Okay, he's talking about stuff with the shots, which I'm not going to get into. Somebody said that Jim Turner here said that we've already had a choice to get the mark of the beast and all that stuff. Yeah, no, you still have a choice even today. Trust me. That stuff. There's no expiration date on getting the mark of the beast, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see COVID #2 come out too. They're going to come out with a new disease. I heard they're working on it. The Chinese communists, they're working on a new disease that killed more people. So we'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
I didn't mean to stop you. I was just saying choose words carefully on this channel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all. I wasn't trying to stop you.
All I said was a joke.
Yeah. No. It's fine. You didn't say enough yet.
That's why, Patrick, I wouldn't be surprised if they plant something in Trump's boxes or they plant something. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, David said earlier, is it was it break-in? He said something or planting. I forgot what he said. But yeah, I mean, you can, when you have access to a going back to the Trump situation, you have access to somebody's personal effects in their house and there's nobody there. You close the security cameras off. You've taken the lawyers and removed them. You removed all the people. You can do whatever you want in their house.
Like plant bugs.
Sleight of hand, too.
You can plant evidence. You can plant bugs. Now, someone will say, oh, you're just making stuff up. Look, if you put yourself in that position where you don't allow, it's like voting.
You're right. You don't allow attorneys within sight. You don't show the subpoena from within 10 feet. You don't let them read it.
It's like the voting, GENARO. If the onus is on you to prove that you're not running a shady situation, if you're not allowing poll watchers, for instance, to get anywhere near what's going on, then the onus is on you because you haven't allowed them to get close enough to look and see what's going on.
Exactly.
All right. Am I getting a little worked up here or what?
Now, what I would like to say,
please,
at some point in the show, we do need to talk about the V thing.
The shot.
Yes. And without getting too much into it, it's very dangerous.
Yes,
There's a reporting system, and it's hurt a lot of people.
It has killed a lot of people. Killed and hurt a lot of people.
And what's got Fabian so worked up is that Donald Trump has not said anything about it. Like, hey, you guys, look, I was pushing the vaccine. I'm sorry.
Don't call it that.
You really need to stay away from that thing.
Call it a shot.
We have medicines that help you if you get the COVID thing. We have powerful medicines. You don't need a vaccine. But he hasn't come out and said that.
Trump in the beginning was influenced by the late, great Dr. Zev Zelenko and his amazing protocol. Even talking about that might get me in trouble here. Which was very, very effective and still is, and along with other protocols that are natural, very effective, life-saving. And Trump was listening to him for a little while until he got pulled off and went with Fauci and these other liars.
Yes.
But he did push. What was that? What was that hydroxy?
Don't say what it is.
Oh, okay. But there was this. There was this remedy that was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
It was available.
There's two of them.
The horse thing that
the horse thing that they made fun of in the HCQ. Hopefully, I can say that much.
Martin, he was pushing that. He was pushing that a lot.
Only a little bit at the beginning, and then he got beaten down, and then they went into the virus thing, and then, into the vaccine thing, and then it was over.
Hey, call it shot. We are on the verge here of losing this stream. So whatever people are seeing live, enjoy it because you may not be able to see a repeat here.
All right.
But we gotta be wise to what we can say on these things.
Dang.
That's just the way it is. I can't do Rumble yet. I'm not really set up to do live
Patrick,
Rumble.
Do you remember the movie that came out a little while ago about you couldn't say anything or these monsters would zero in on your voice and kill you?
No. But let me again finish the point here that you were trying to make, Martin.
Yes.
I agree, and I think Fabian already knows this. I already agree that Trump has been AWOL on this. Trump has a major issue with, which is his ego. So anything that Trump does, he is automatically going to back it. He doesn't back down, which is what we loved about him in the beginning when he was right. But when you won't back down when you're wrong, it's a problem. Okay, it's a issue that you need to fix.
Yeah.
He is on the wrong side of this shot issue by far. I agree 100% on that. No doubt about that. He's wrong on that. That's why I liked and still do like DeSantis as a better candidate. But and he's been wrong about the January 6 people. He should have been doing a press conference every day until they release these people or charge them, at least if they're going to hold them there. They have been holding these people as political prisoners for the last year and a half. It bothers me. and Trump should have been much more vocal about that. Okay. Those are my two issues with Trump. That being said, this show tonight is not about Trump. It's about what happened to Trump, but it's what's happened to him that it should concern every American, including Fabian.
Right. It's what happened to him and who's doing it and why, and the unscrupulous reasons behind what's going on. Not necessarily about Trump, whether you're for him or not. It's just what's happening. Right. I agree with that. I agree with that.
I'm sorry. I unfortunately was reading one of his comments while you said it. Can you repeat just for me? And I'm sorry about that.
No, I just was mentioned that you're right. The conversation is not about Trump. It's what's happening to Trump, who is causing it, and why.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
well,
that's more nice to
okay.
Get us back on track. We could move off the topic. And
I mean it's okay. Good because we have people coming in and out at any given time, so it's good to remind them what we've been talking about too. David says the only reason we know about HCQ, hopefully I could even say that on the air. I don't even know if I can say that anymore. Is because look up HCQ if you guys want more information. It's an excellent therapeutic. Yeah. So the only reason we know about HCQ is because Trump told us about it and protected it for us. He did for a time, but they didn't protect it enough. He didn't protect it enough either. It was up to us to get aggressive about our doctors' medical rights. That's true to some extent. I mean, Trump at least put it out there, got us knowing about it. And we need to do the work too. There are no supermen that we're supposed to get behind and use as a cult leader for us to go follow. Trump has a big cult following, which is a mistake. People follow religious leaders, political leaders, cultural leaders, entertainers. We have a problem with cults in this country. Absolutely. And we have a Trump cult too.
We're also in a serious war here. And
we are.
We have a serious commander-in-chief who can defeat these people if we just tune them up right.
Yeah, we don't know.
We as people have to contribute to Trump.
I agree.
And make sure he gets tuned up. That's why the next time there's a rally, I think I'll fly out there and, challenge the people going in to challenge Donald Trump to ask him why he doesn't speak about the vaccine.
Well, he did. One of the guys I interviewed said that because Trump was talking about this stuff and promoting it still. Don't use a different word, please, Martin, if you can.
Oh man, I missed it. Sorry.
But it's okay. But I have to be aware of these things.
I do. I'm the one screwing up.
Yeah, you too. I forgot what the heck I was going to say now. You said that word and you flipped me out. Ah! I had a reaction to the word. Anyway, I forgot what the heck I was saying. But the point is people do need to do their own work. Quit relying. When Trump was in office, I said this to my family and other people, we're losing our culture. Even if he would have got reelected at that time, we were losing our culture during Trump. We were becoming great in certain ways. Yes, we were getting richer. Yes, the gasoline was lower. Yes, we were pumping our own oil. Yes, we were saving more babies, I would say at the time. Yeah, we were doing some things that were good, but our culture was still sliding. The whole gay thing was sliding. A lot of Republicans are gay. Hey,
why was it sliding? Why was it sliding?
It's sliding because we're losing Christianity. That's why it's sliding. Because Republican Party is looking for only votes. I'm not against a person. They want to be gay. Go be gay. Okay. But don't say it's okay when it's really not okay. Like if gay people want to vote for Republicans, that's great. I'm not going to dissuade them from voting Republicans. Mm-hmm. But the problem with the Republican Party is it pandered so badly, trying to get every single vote that they water down the message. Christians can never water down our message. I can agree. I can work with gay people if I need to on certain things. I'm just not agreeing with what they're doing. Okay. Yeah. I had issues in my life. I overcame them. I'm not going back. Okay. And I'm not going to agree with this stuff. It's not going to happen. So they can work with us, but we can't go over to the other side and just say, oh, it's okay to be gay. It's okay to be trans. It's okay to get your parts chopped off if you're a child. No can do.
Patrick, well, the way churches are handling the gay issue It's a perfect way to find out if you're with an authentic church or not. That's a very difficult and sensitive matter because but usually you can tell if a church has real salt is how they deal with the gay issue, and you're right. True conservatives can't be like as watered down where they go just to get political win.
And Trump did that too much. Trump and Trump's family and Trump's allies pushed the gay thing too far, in my opinion. But anyway, that's another thing. But getting back to your point, Martin, the bigger point is I agree. He wouldn't be my first choice. And I think he did a lot of bad stuff. But what am I going to do? Okay. If I get to a general election and Trump is the guy and I went for DeSantis, let's say, and am I going to vote to allow Biden and crew to get back in with all the stuff that they're doing, all the abortions that they're pushing, all of the people that are pushing across our border, trying to destroy our country, trying to inflate us into oblivion, trying to take our ability to pump our own, to get our own gas, our own oil out of the ground. Everything they do is designed to knock us out. Correct. I mean, there's no reason in hell that I would go back and put them back. I have no choice, in my opinion, but to choose, if you want to call it lesser evil or whatever you want to call it, I would choose Trump over Biden in a heartbeat. Now, Fabian is going to say, no way he'd ever vote for Trump again. I can't say that with everybody, but I know what I would do.
Right.
There's people here. Emerald says, Emerald Pinifoy. Wow, that's a hard one to say. Emperor Pinifoy. I'm sorry. There's probably a famous Emperor Pinifoy, and I'm not good enough on history to know who he is. David Cracchiolo would know this because he's a history buff. DeSantis supports red flag laws. That's where you can take someone's guns away just on pretty basically a neighbor or something saying that you're a threat or something. I don't like that stuff. We're trying to repeal that in Florida. I don't know if that's true.
Some red flags are okay.
No, it's a very slippery slope. You cannot take someone's guns away based on a neighbor saying that you're a threat.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But what about somebody who's just been diagnosed as psychotic or what's that?
Well, there should be.
Well, that has to be adjudicated somewhere. You can't
go through.
Right. Yeah. No, there has to be due process, but it would still be a red flag.
Okay. True. Yeah, in a sense. In that sense, I'm just saying it can't be done on the basis of your neighbor saying you're a threat because they don't like your politics or something.
I agree 100%.
Okay, I don't agree, Emperor, that what you're saying here is completely accurate. You're saying DeSantis supports the red flag laws. I don't believe, number one, he does. Maybe he does. I'm not sure.
Disarm the populace because DeSantis asked to stand your ground laws.
Well, yeah, wait. I'm getting to that. He does not want to disarm the populace. That's totally untrue. Totally untrue. I liked him until I don't learn that. Listen, guys, every single politician that you might support is going to have stuff you don't like. You have to decide if it gets to a level where it's too much for you. I get it if you're thinking that Trump's done too much or whatever.
That out in the primaries.
Yeah, but if your guy doesn't win in the primary, let's say that Trump wins the primary, and let's say I want DeSantis, who I do. Even though he's my governor, I hate to lose him. But let's say Trump wins the primary. Then I can't vote for DeSantis in the general election because he hasn't won. He hasn't gotten as far as the general, right? You're going to have a choice of either Trump or whoever it may be, Biden or whoever, Michelle Obama off the sidelines, whoever they pull off, right? Hillary. And so at that point, you have to make a choice. Am I going to say that I can't stand Trump so much that he's so horrible that I'm going to pick Biden over Trump? I'm not going to make that call, but if you're going to do that, that's on you. If people
somebody out there saying that they will do that,
Fabian's saying that
he'll pick Biden over Trump.
No, he's not going to pick him. He just wouldn't vote.
Oh, I see.
I mean, again, I'm not putting someone down for that. It's a moral choice, and you have to live with yourself and your creator, and that's the most important thing. I don't think I could do it though, just in terms of protecting the populace. I think I would take the chance that Trump has learned something in the meantime if I have to vote for him versus Biden.
Trump changed his mind on abortion.
Yes, he did.
That's a big deal. He saved a lot of lives that way. A lot of kids being born and gave new energy to the anti-abortion people.
Right.
Okay.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, he did change on abortion. And he, oh, by the way, I didn't finish this thought, but he did change on not promoting. He's at least smart enough, whether he wants to promote the shot still. Somebody told him, and some people have told him, hey, dude, cool it with that stuff. It's not a good applause line anymore. People don't like to hear it at your rallies. Knock it off. So he's smart enough to realize that I don't think he really promotes it anymore in the public. If I'm wrong, you can correct me, but I don't think he is.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. David's saying something very important here. He's saying that I can say this is for helping people become healthy, right? When they have things out there that are sicknesses and things that are going after them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
David is saying, I can say quercetin. I can say Zelenko protocol. I can say FLCCC protocols. Okay. I'm going to put this on the, do you guys have your own personal stockpiles of counter virus, supplies? We all need to be vigilant. It starts at our level. We can't depend on our leaders to do it all for us. ! I agree with that. Yeah. We have to become, and my wife was saying this today, mentioning to me, in the old days, before Israel had a king, they didn't have a king at all. They had no leader. Okay. Yep. They didn't have one, nor did they really need one at that time. People were more.
They did, but it was like the United States without a federal government. They had tribal leadership.
Okay, but they didn't have a federal leader. Okay, they asked for
a little bit on Deuteronomy.
Yeah, but let me just finish this, and I'll get right to that. They wanted a king, though, and they got a king, and his name was Saul, and he was a horrible king.
No, okay. He's a great king for a little while, and then he turned south.
Okay, well, but he ended up being a bad king. So the point is we're too king oriented. Okay, we're too king oriented. So let me put something up here, because I've been talking about how this Trump thing and how we've become the tail and not the head. And this was in Deuteronomy, and I'm going to try to find this here. There's a piece in Deuteronomy about this. Deuteronomy says the whole thing right here. It's quite simple, but unfortunately, I'm not finding it. I'm running around here. Here it is. Let me see if I can put this up. See if anybody can see this if I put it up. Okay, can you guys read that?
Yeah. You pay attention to the commandments of the Lord God that I...
Say it out loud, please.
Well, there's it's the old school insignia covering half of mine.
But you can see what I think it says, right?
Yeah, it says, if you pay attention to the commands of, then I can't see what it says.
Of the Lord your God that I give to you this day, and carefully follow them, you will always be at the top, never at the bottom.
Right. Can you repeat that, Martin?
If you pay attention to the commandments of the Lord your God that I give you this day, and carefully follow them, you will always be at the top, never at the bottom.
Deuteronomy 28, whatever it was.
13.
Okay. The point is, if I were you guys, I urge you to read Deuteronomy chapter 28. And somebody said earlier in the chat here, forgive me because it's been a while here, but somebody mentioned Deuteronomy 28. And they said, I guess the black Israelites like to mention that all the time. I think one of the guys that used to be in the black, I think somebody used to be in the black Israelites. He said that they like to repeat that all the time. But I don't care who said it. I don't care if I agree with them on a lot of their points. Deuteronomy 28 is right on the point. If you follow God and his commandments, you will be blessed. And when you are blessed, you will be the head and not the tail, right? If you don't listen to what I'm saying and you head in your own direction, you will be the tail now and somebody else will be the head. It flips on you. The whole thing flips.
Yes. And to make that simpler to carry out, if you just sit still and observe what's actually driving you, right? You will see that God will change that, and then you will be able to then everything you touch will turn to gold. You will be like another King Midas. You will be free of sin. You'll be free of anger. You'll be at peace. At peace.
Yeah, I agree. And to the wide audience here, as I said, and we mentioned antidote for all earlier, right?
Right.
And that's a way that you can learn what the old ancient Christian meditation that was taught by Roy Masters, the late great Roy Masters. Okay. But even if you are opposed to that or something, at least get yourself into the game. And I would say at least start, if you want to start at the basics and you just want to spend some quiet time. This is something my wife talks about a lot. And she told me sometimes I don't spend enough just time sitting around doing nothing. If you want to start with quiet time, it's beautiful. It'll help you a lot. Just being quiet, just sitting down in a chair, doing nothing and being quiet will help you a lot.
Oh yeah. That's another type of self-observation.
It is.
You can observe yourself with your eyes open too. It's just not as strong.
It's not as strong.
Can I say something really quick?
Yes, please go ahead.
Just want to add to encourage someone, just like I try to help my friend because of the tremendous help that it's helped me. If you're going through depression, if you're going through anxiety, you're going through phobias, you're freaking out, the best remedy that I have found is learning to meditate, because it's equivalent to this. If you are in a nightmare in your dreams, and all of a sudden you realize that you're dreaming, you can wake yourself up from the dream. You wake, and it's like that. Once you awaken to who you are, the presence of who you are, those feelings and that's all that they are. They're just feelings and thoughts, and you realize that's what they are. They're just thoughts and feelings. They pass, they come, and they go. There's something within you that neither comes nor passes, that is always there. Everything is fleeting. Coming to know that quiet space that's within you, that bear witness to everything. It's a very, very powerful place.
It is.
So
undoubtedly.
So people out there who are suffering, look into, especially the antidote, the be still that Patrick mentioned. It's only 5 to 7 minutes, and it teaches,
at least to start.
It teaches you how to disconnect from your thoughts, and where they're not as active. The worst thing you can about a person is if he has an active imagination.
For Christians,
it teaches you how to take away and distance yourself from the feelings of that active imagination, and where they lose power. Okay. And nothing can harm you after that. Nothing can harm you. Nothing can harm you on the outside. Once you find that quiet place. That's
and for people who need to hear the words Holy Spirit and Christ, your conscience, when you sit down and be still, you are reconnected to your conscience. Your conscience is connected to the Holy Spirit that Jesus sent, and that Holy Spirit will empower you to be able to give up without effort, without your own willpower or anything. It'll give you the ability to drop all your different resentments and angers and your corruptions, and everything will just start to melt away. Especially if you do it long enough in the morning and at night, you will go into hyper sonic.
Yes, and I love I 100% what you guys are saying. And this I'm going to say for people who have doubted. There are people I have talked to who it bothers them. They see us promoting meditation, for instance, and they will say, "Yeah, but Patrick, you were meditating. You were meditating." I'm losing Martin. I guess Martin's trying to talk or something, but he's off the screen. I wish he would come back on now, because I wanted him to hear this.
I think you can hear it now.
He might hear me now. I don't know.
Yeah.
You come back on?
He's there, yeah. I can hear him.
I'm okay. So hopefully he's coming back on. So people will say to me, Patrick, you say all this stuff about meditation, but you said that you've been meditating for years. You used to do this stuff. But look, you got into all this mess that you got into that I've talked about on past shows that I'm not really talking about anymore. Because I've told my story, and but they kind of use it to discredit meditation. Same thing with Martin. Martin spent many years meditating, but yet was doing stuff that he's admitted to that were wrong. So it can tend to, in some people's eyes, take away our credibility. Now, I have an answer for that, and I think Martin does too.
I do.
And I'll let Martin give his answer first. And it's probably the same answer that I would have or do have. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Patrick?
Yes, I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, because you guys, I can hear you, but your volume is turned down for some reason. Anyway, yeah. Well, for me, I was only doing the observation exercise in the morning. At night, I was into pornography. So here you got, I'm doing just the opposite at night as I'm doing in the morning. And so that's why I was screwed up for 40 years. Now, out of nowhere, because I couldn't stand looking at myself. So I would rather look at pornography than myself at night, you know. So I
you weren't committed.
I wasn't. And out of nowhere, though, I started, there was given to me a commitment. I didn't make the decision. Oh, I'm so sick of this life. I didn't make a decision. It was like I was given the ability now to sit still at night, and that did it. And once I sat still at night and in the morning, it's been since December of last year. I've been on like a rocket, a hypersonic rocket, you know, just moving away very quickly from all my obstructions.
Amen.
Go ahead. Events, Martin, you had some events that sort of happened that sort of threw you to yourself, though, prior to.
Oh, you mean like the cancer?
That and you know other things that you know I don't want to mention, you know, Bond. I don't want to go too much into that.
Yeah, that too.
You sort of you know the disillusionment with Jesse threw you back to yourself somehow, and whereby you realized that you weren't going to ever again trust no man, and that you were going to go directly with God. You know,
that. You know, that sounds nice, but I never made that connection myself, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. That may have happened deeply that I didn't see. Something was happening, but it wasn't a conscious decision on my part.
But what was it? What was the change then? What made you start praying at night instead of doing you don't have to mention what you're doing again, but
I don't know.
I have a feeling it may have been
the events I just started
that took place.
It at night, and then there was a night I missed or something, and then I went back to the pornography, and then, like, you know, after a week, right, of doing the observation prayer at night. This is how it first started in December. I was doing the observation exercise at night, and then I'm like, got antsy, and I went back to pornography, and then another 2 weeks doing the observation exercise at night, went back to pornography, and then after that, I never looked back.
You started kind of itching forward a little bit, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Okay.
And then I never looked back after that.
All right.
The time that it happens, the you know, well, the things that you're overcoming doesn't happen in your time. It doesn't happen sometimes as quick as you want things to happen.
That's
things
right.
happen at their own time when you know they're ripe to happen.
And what's the wisdom? What's the benefit of waking up at 65 instead of I could have woke up at 23? I heard the truth at 23 years old.
Yeah.
What's the benefit of waking up at 65?
That better late than never. Even the guy at the cross. Remember the guy? He woke up right there with Jesus Christ. His last word.
I'll tell you what the benefit is.
I was going to say I thought he had an answer, like Mr. Lawyer here. He has a question. He always has the answer.
It was the real answer.
Appreciate it a lot more.
Appreciate it a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like going through a long desert walk. At the end of this long walk, not a short walk, but at the end of the long walk, you're going to appreciate that drink of water a lot better.
Yeah, and you're going to have a grounding like I have. I had meditation early, and I had some amazing early effects.
Me too. Yes.
But I had some falling away, and I had some great stuff, but I had some falling away. But what I have now, I have a seasoning. I'm like a well-seasoned veteran.
Correct.
And I've been through the hard knocks of mostly mental, spiritual trickery, because the devil is above anything else. The devil operates by trickery. He doesn't just come up to you and say, "Hey, I'm the devil. Come with me," and say no to God. Walk away and say, "Bye, God. Come with me." He might do that to really people that are really into evil. Yeah. But if you have any desire whatsoever towards God, he's not going to play you that way. He's going to trick you. So what I have now, what you guys have now, is the seasoning of decades in a certain way. And people say, this is getting back to the idea from me of, oh, Patrick, why are you saying so? Are you not that credible? Because we heard about all the stuff you did with Jesse. So therefore you have no credibility. The point is I kind of did a similar thing to Martin did. I wouldn't say I didn't pray at night, because I did, but I didn't give it any proper time. I'd stay up too late. I would get involved with my food and my entertainment. And then when I felt real tired, I'd go to bed and put my fingers together and then nod off and almost get a broken neck because my head would hit my chest so quickly.
Exactly.
So it wasn't. What's that?
A while ago, just to emphasize that point.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Where Roy warns us, do not do the meditation so close to bedtime that you fall asleep into your meditation. You want to be fully conscious the whole time you're meditating, and then you want to, after you're done, then go to bed. You don't want to be so tired that you fall asleep.
Of course,
the observation thing, it doesn't do any good.
And to be honest with you, I still do it sometimes. I still do fall asleep.
I'm trying to be pretty careful about it.
Yeah.
But he also says that if you have a feeling of falling asleep when you're doing the meditation, have a nice nap, and then when you wake up, go ahead and try again at a different time.
And that's what I do.
And I do that too. I wake up in the middle of the night, especially if I have a nightmare. If I have a nightmare, I almost always get up and sit up in bed and pray, and the nightmare doesn't come back. It just doesn't. If you pray,
saying the name of Jesus Christ, isn't that amazing?
Well, I do that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Things just go away. It seems to just dark forces.
That's what I'm talking about, man. I got to write this down. Spiritual tools, man. I got to do a show on spiritual tool. I've done some already on this, but use the spiritual. You got his toolbox, man. I don't know why I'm saying man. I sound like Joe Biden all of a sudden. Use the toolbox. Say the name of Jesus Christ to get demons to run like hell, if you need to.
They're provisions, and these are all provisions that are within the Bible. It's all in there. And they're also, in our hearts. We know what they are. We just have been taught to doubt them growing up.
I agree. And I'm not ashamed to use all the tools now. I've talked to you guys on this show about the tool of pain. I have learned from the tool of pain.
Even some mantras. I remember,
I don't know about that now.
Well, no, I'm a Christian mantra. Say, I remember going through some horrible periods in my life. And just repeating some scripture over and over sometimes can get your mind away. If you haven't yet tapped into the power of meditation,
I got you. Like the Our Father prayer.
The tools, these are tools. Okay. Like a scripture, just repeat it over and over, and it can create wonders.
I read the Bible.
That's why the Catholics have that rosary.
Yeah, they do. They do. I read.
But you know what it does, really? It just keeps them in the present moment. If you're repeating prayers, you're in the present moment at the time, and that's more of a help.
It does, but there's a little more to it than that.
Yeah. The Our Father, I remember.
Tell me, what is more to it?
I'm going to tell you.
Let me answer.
Go ahead,
let me respond to that. I remember Roy talking about the Our Father and how to say it, how to pray for it. When you pray it, you're contemplating on the words, every single word.
Yes.
You're saying, Our Father, who art in heaven. Well, you're thinking, okay, heaven. Where is heaven? Heaven is all around us. And you're as you're saying the word, you're contemplating the meaning behind it, and it's bringing you to the present, but it's also expanding your awareness into. It
does. I 100% agree with that, and I would go another step too in reading parts of the Bible. The Bible wasn't written by accident, so it's like you could say, well, we got meditation now, we don't need the Bible. Well, technically, if you're on a desert island, you don't need the Bible. You can get it. You'll be fine with meditation. But you know what? It's kind of nice, and it can help you. And I, for instance, right now, I happen to be reading the book of Proverbs, okay? And maybe some of this is just because I enjoy reading what I know one of the wisest men of all times has to say about things. It just gives me ponder.
It does. It is good ponder material.
It is. It makes I think on these things, right? Think on these things.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I said it doesn't, so you can use your mind in a certain, pondering is a nice thing sometimes. So that's what I use it for. So use the spiritual tools you got. Another one, and I said this the other day, but now that we're on spiritual tools, I'm going to say it. I'm really more and more paying attention to music. I want to do another show on how corrupt the culture is, how corrupt music is, how corrupt the movies are, how almost everything is a setup that the devil is using.
Yes.
Popular music is a tool of the devil for the most part.
Relationships is probably the biggest.
Relationships too.
Yeah,
all those things
that's what the devil does most of his work, I think.
Well, they're not relationships; they are premarital sex. They're sex. They're sex.
Yeah, but sometimes you have relationships that are based on mutual use in their marriage. They're still marriages.
That's what Roy called fiend shit.
Yeah. You're using each other one way or another. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I want to go back to something that I know we're going. We're balancing subjects here too. I mean, we have people in the chat still. I want to go back to something that Ted W. clarified about DeSantis. Apparently, DeSantis does support currently red flag laws. Red flag laws are in their current state in Florida are terrible. They allow pretty much anybody to have a problem with you and come after you and say that you're crazy or something, and you can have your guns taken away. And it's not, and getting them back is hard, and that ain't right. It's against the Second Amendment. It's against God's law, and it's wrong. And DeSantis should wise up on this issue.
And just think about it. Now that there's 87,000 more IRS agents coming, they'll easily be able to say, this guy is getting a little bit too hard.
And guns. Yeah.
During our audit session, he's getting a little too harsh. I think we should try to.
He's taking back all that money he gave. He's taking back all that money he gave out to people, and he's probably going to do it with guns and confiscation.
These people are just
the IRS.
Yeah. They're just. This is why when you talk about Trump being raided, I don't know every single detail, and we'll find out as we go. And I know that Trump is not Jesus here, but I do know that the people in power now are evil. They're just evil. They're taking away our rights left and right. They're trying to destroy this country on purpose.
That's why I support him, because only somebody with that type of boldness can deal with this level of evilness. Somebody like DeSantis and Trump. I don't see anyone else.
Yeah, most of these people, they may be nice Christians and stuff, but they're not strong, tough Christians. Right. They're going to get their butts kicked.
Yeah, like Gowdy and what's the name of the all these guys that just talk tough. You were talking about that one time, Patrick.
Yeah.
They talk the talk. They can do really good clips. Watch Gowdy destroy.
Yeah.
Okay. But when it comes to actually taking people to the Department of Justice or using the FBI to prosecute people, they don't. The Democrats do.
I agree. And right up along that alley, my congressman is Matt Gaetz. Okay, Matt Gaetz. Now, people outside my district think he's great. I have nothing against him if he watches any part of this. I have nothing against Matt Gaetz. He's a nice guy. But there is an appearance from me, and I haven't been here forever, but the appearance that I get is that there's a lot of kind of like, there's candidates. We have candidates right now in our local elections. They do the same thing. They throw a lot of red meat down to get people fired up on certain issues that really aren't necessarily the most important issues of the day, of that's affecting us right now, right here in our county.
Yeah.
Okay. They throw a lot of red meat out, but they don't necessarily show up for the votes that they should be showing up for, or things like that. Now, I will vote for Matt Gaetz in the general election if he gets if he wins the primary here, because I met his opponent at a candidate forum the other night, and she's like the Wicked Witch of the West, or the East here, because we're in the East. So there's no way I'd vote for her. Matt Gaetz is a lot better, but I'm just saying Matt Gaetz can do better than what he's doing, because people now are starting to wake up. We're talking about waking up. Some people more and more are waking up. It's not just the words anymore. It's not just the words that they say. It's what do they do? Watch the actions that they do. Watch what they're doing for their constituents, and not the words that they say. All right, I had to get that out. Sorry, guys. But anyway, we got back to what he was saying about let me just flip to comments. We're going to be out pretty soon. I just want to make sure you guys can pipe up, and we'll have you guys make whatever closing things you want to say soon. I just want to kind of run through the comments again and make sure. Fabian's on a tear here. What happened? He's got like 6 things in a row here. Wow. Trump was for red flags too. I didn't know that. Okay, that's probably true. If DeSantis is for it, Trump was probably for it. Trump is evil too. Come on. I mean, really, he has just recently lied about objective poison. All I'm saying, and I'm not going to keep an argument here about this, Fabian. I'm going to make my point, and hopefully this is all last I have to say about it. I'm going to pick, in general, the guy who's, maybe you call him lesser of the two evils, whatever you want to call it, but I'm going to pick the guy who's going to save more lives, okay? If more babies are going to be saved under Trump than Biden, I would take Trump over Biden. If fewer illegal aliens are going to cross the border, a lot of them are God knows what, cartel members, ISIS members, God knows what, not to mention all the disease and stuff that's pouring over the borders. I'm going to pick Trump on that level too. If Trump is going to keep our guns more than Biden would, I'm going to keep him on that. If I mean, I can go on and on and on. If he's going to make us, if he's going to make us energy independent versus us having to scrap around and maybe be running around this winter wondering where we're going to get our next meal from, I think it's a pretty easy choice. But again, that's me. If you want to vote, if you don't want to vote for Trump when it comes to Trump versus Biden, if it does, that's up to you. We all have to make our own conscious choice. My conscience at this point, unless I change my mind at this point, I haven't changed my mind. I would take Trump over Biden.
Hands down.
No question. No question.
Okay. Sorry, Fabian, but that's the way you can keep whatever opinion you have. That's why we're in America here. We can all have a different opinion if we want.
And not voting for either candidate is the same as voting for the other candidate, by the way.
Well, yeah, in a way it is. I mean, if somebody is so egregious,
it's the sin of omission.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody's pro-abortion or something, they would make it very difficult for me to vote for. So I get that. Even if they were a better candidate, if I was voting for Giuliani in New York City as the mayor versus whoever the Democrat is, and knowing that Giuliani is pro-abortion, they call it pro-choice, it would be difficult for me to vote for Giuliani, even though I really like the guy and he did great things for the city. Maybe I would vote for him. I don't know. I'd have to pray over that. I don't know what my answer is.
Your answer would be yes, because he's going to make the city in general better.
He's going to make it better in general.
Abortion thing on other front. It's another front. We'll fight that. We'll fight that fight too.
But there are such a type of one issue type of people. Some people, it's just abortion. If you're against abortion, they just cannot go with you. If Fabian is the type of person that he's a one issue person, and the vaccine just isn't, that's fine. I mean,
well, that's not very logical. To be,
when
it comes to politics, because there's not.
But how do you feel? How do you feel about the person who decides on abortion, who decides on the candidate based on abortion? I mean, if they'll say,
no,
okay,
that's fine. That's fine.
But that's one issue. That's one issue.
Abortion, but if both of them are for abortion,
it's a huge issue.
Go to the next thing that triggers you.
Yeah.
Like.
I agree.
Let's put it this way: it becomes tough, and I will tell you this. How do I say this? God has protection, as He said in the book of Deuteronomy. God will protect you if you're following Him. He tends to remove His protection to the degree you're not following Him. Okay. Now you can see acts of God throughout the country, meaning an act of God, meaning a hurricane or whatever. And I'm not saying necessarily every hurricane means protection is gone. I don't know. I do know that New Orleans was doing some really bad stuff related to voodoo, related to just allowing any kind of sexuality and parading it in front of everyone with gay pride parades and things like that, which they're doing now here too, in where I am, or fairly close by. So at some point, God takes His protection away. Did God take His protection away from New York City, for instance, because Giuliani was not willing to stand up for life?
Yeah, more people died of the
9/11
of COVID-19.
No, I'm saying even in 9/11 when Giuliani was mayor, did God take His protection away from New York City? No one never really talks about this, and some people are gonna say, "Oh, that's crazy." It's not crazy to understand how God works, and God has historically worked that He keeps His protection with you, just like these droughts that are going on. A lot of the droughts that are going on, biblically speaking, when you read the Bible, a lot of times they're going on because God has taken his protection away from that area.
I don't know if God has taken his protection away as much as you're running away from his protection. It's like, okay, remember the story of the
but I'm just saying he caused the drought. I didn't cause the drought. God did.
Well, it talks about in Deuteronomy, Patrick and Martin, that
that's
the
true.
The curses that follow if you don't follow the laws of God, and that is your fields will not grow. Your bodies will not produce fruit.
Yeah.
Your enemies will no longer fear you, but the people that live in your land you will fall into debt to the people that live in your land, and they will rule over you.
Yes.
It goes on to a famine. They're all curses, and it reminds me a little bit of Jonah. And we talked about this, Martin. I really want to make this one point because it's really
because we're going to roll pretty soon. So guys, make your good strong closers.
Okay, in the prophet Jonah, Jonah was asked by God to preach to the people of Nineveh, and if you recall in the Bible, he refused, and part of the reason why some scholars and some people say that he didn't go preach to the people in Nineveh because it was very rowdy at that place, but yet it was by God. God had order of him to do that, so he didn't, and because of that, a curse followed him. Do you guys recall? He was almost killed, and then ultimately the curse led him to fall into the whale and go into a certain state where he could not find release until something had happened.
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
What was that guy's name again?
Jonah.
Yeah. Okay. Jonah didn't want to go because he knew God, if they repented, would forgive them. If they changed their hearts, God would forgive them. He didn't want that. He wanted them.
But Nineveh was also known to be a very, very violent and rowdy.
It was
at that time.
Yeah. Okay, but I just want to throw that's what Scripture says.
Probably multifold, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because he even complained. He said, "I knew you would forgive them."
But in any case, a curse followed him for not, going to the order of God.
That's right.
Go ahead, Patrick. I just wanted to mention. Deuteronomy is very poetic. Deuteronomy is very poetic in the curses.
Right. I'm going to say, read as a homework assignment, guys. I urge you to read Deuteronomy chapter 28. The blessings and the curses. It's all there. What you're seeing today in America and around the world, it's all in Deuteronomy 28. And watch, because it also gives you the way to get over that. And I believe that we can be blessed, even if our country is under some type of a curse. We can be personally blessed if we follow God. Look at Noah. The whole world was cursed, but Noah got out with his family.
Yep.
So I'm going to read a few more comments, and I'll let you guys make a closer if you want, and then we're out. Brian said, Martin, you got a taste of freedom. Jim Turner says, we need spiritual weapons, not tools. Let's not get fancy over terms, guys. Okay. Weapons. Okay. No, weapons are good too, because weapons
are the tools of war.
Yeah. They're offensive. Okay. Sorry about that, Jim. You're right. Sorry. I was starting to hammer you and I was corrected. See, I got correction. And
that is a better term. That is
now I'm going to hammer Jim again, though. I saw something else he said that I don't agree with. Jim says falling asleep in meditation will open people up to demons. That is not true, by the way.
That is
what you just said. What you said there is not true, because now if you're talking about demonic kinds of meditations, which are many bad meditations out there, yeah, that's probably true. But being still and being conscious is the least thing that will open you up to demons. So it is not true, although you should not fall asleep in meditation, because it shows that you did not give yourself enough time to meditate before falling asleep.
Yeah, you're being lazy about it, and God doesn't appreciate that.
That's right. Okay.
And meditation is a natural thing. That's one thing I want to mention.
The kind of meditation, meditation we're talking about is natural. Yes.
Very natural.
Fabian's still on the warpath here. And says, and I'm going to let him have this one last comment to get it off his chest. See, I'm being nice. I'm not being nice. I just want to be fair. And Fabian's my friend too, so I like to give him a chance. And he was supposed to be on the show tonight, so I'm giving him a virtually. See his picture there? He's virtually on the show tonight. Smile, Fabian.
Okay, I get it now.
Fabian was commenting about your appearance too, Martin, with that hat. He said you looked really handsome and stuff. So I don't know. Okay. Fabian says, I don't think you guys see the time we are in right now. We are 2 years into Revelation. It's going to become very clear. Okay.
Well, how many years total is Revelation?
I think 7 or something. I don't know.
7? Okay, we got plenty of time.
Well, my point is, does that really change anything? Let's say we're in Revelation now. I don't know if we are or not. Maybe we are. I don't know. We are definitely in the last days somewhere in there, I believe. I think we all probably agree with that. I don't know. Do we?
I don't know.
I think if we're not, this is the night. This is a pretty good dry run.
I do see things happening in a global scale. Like I think we are getting more and more pushed towards globalism. I do see that, and where you have a centralized power.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely is occurring, and that's partly why I think they want to get rid of Trump. They want to assassinate his character. They've done so much work.
I didn't mean to interrupt it because we're a short time. This, GENARO, is exactly why I'm trying to make this point involving Trump to Fabian, but he doesn't seem to understand it. For all the faults that Trump has, again, as I said at the beginning of the show, I do not believe that Trump, I think it's pretty dang clear that Trump is not one of them. He is not a one-worlder. He stood up at the United Nations and told them that. At the World Economic Forum, in front of NATO, he's made himself quite clear. Why do you think the Chinese went out after him and brought their sickness in to knock his economy out? He's clearly not on the same team as these people. I think you could say, well, he's on a team with evil with him or whatever, but he's not a one-worlder. He's not in with their plan. If he is, he's doing a pretty dang good job of really fooling everybody.
We'll see what comes up in those boxes. I hate to say that, but I just hope they don't plan anything, and it just seems to me though that it's starting not to work in his favor. All things work towards the Lord, for those who are with him, and it looks like it's going to backfire. It's just going to expose to more people in the middle that the obviousness of it.
Okay, right. Fabian, you are very good at getting me to respond. I'll tell you that. You're good at it. I'm going to give you one more because I need to respond to this too. It's a good question. And I don't like the tone of it is kind of weird, to be honest with you, Fabian. I'm going to show you here, and you're going to say you're telling the truth, but I think there's more to it than what you're saying. Here it is. We can all look at this. Fabian says, it's just a shell game, Patrick. We're done. Now, is it true that we are in a track to the end days and that's it and nothing we can do about it? That could be true. I'm not arguing that point. But the point that I want to get to, one of the reasons I do this show.
What makes us so done?
Well, but let me just finish this. Let me finish the thought.
All right.
He's saying that we're in Revelation and there's nothing we can do. We're in it. Even if we are, one of the points to this show is to help people spiritually and physically survive and do as best as they can and to help other people. So even if we are in those times, we should be helping people. I'm not saying that Fabian's disagreeing with this point. I just want to make sure this point is clear. Whatever time we're in, we should be spiritually attuned to God, paying attention to him first, helping our families, and helping our fellow man in whatever way that is, spiritual, physical, whatever it is, helping them, with their lives, helping them find work, whatever it is. We're still living right now. We have not been yanked up to heaven at this point. Nobody's been raptured. We're still here. And while we're here, we should do everything we can to live as best of lives as we can. That's my little...
Yeah. You don't have to be who you were 5 minutes ago. You don't have to be who you were 2 minutes ago. You can, choose to be quiet and just be in the present moment and enjoy your peace. You don't, I wanted to add that. You could change. And
amen.
Meditation provides.
Amen. I think I just blocked a user. I wasn't able to do it last time, but this time I was. Some guy was being a total fool. I think when people disagree, it's great, but some people are just.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we welcome disagreement. I'm not able to see the chat right now. It's telling me to sign up for something, and maybe I'll do it later. But I would love to dialogue with it. You guys can say whatever that you like, and you can put it at whatever tone that you want. You can just be creative. Just be creative. Don't be silly. Don't be mean spirited, because it doesn't.
Yeah.
Work. Yeah.
Oh, Mind Over Energy was giving the guy a little more break than me. I just gave him the. I slit the throat right there. But maybe I was a little. I mean, when people are obviously. See, it's like the troll is an interesting kind of character, because it's like, what are they about? Like, they don't really want to talk about the truth, but they don't want to like engage you in conversation. There's not that many places where you can have open conversation like we're doing. You should take advantage of it, I think, if you can. But some people they're afraid of open conversation.
Maybe sometimes something that you say that may have triggered them. There's some belief that you may have that's contrary to what they believe. And when it's mean spirited, it's just coming from a bad place.
Even if it's mean spirited, I wish you would have given him like a way to call into the show so we could deal with him.
Ask a question. Yeah, if he phrases his.
Maybe next. We're coming off. We're going to leave the show soon today, but maybe in the future I'll do that. And
that's
like we
MOE. Get that done.
Yeah, we can have people come on the show if we want, and they can come on or whatever. But I'm not going to babysit anybody through a conversation if they're going to come on and be a troll anyway. If you're a troll, don't waste your time. I'm just going to dump you.
I don't know what that means, though, Patrick.
A troll is somebody who's purposely just trying to mess with you.
But how do you know that?
You can tell. You can tell by the way that you can tell by their statements.
How do you know the bad fruit from the good fruit when you go to the grocery store?
You squeeze it.
Yeah. Okay. You feel it out.
Just like I squeezed this guy off the show. All right.
I don't know. I like to deal with trolls myself.
A troll is just I really don't have time for them. If they have an honest question, hey, I'm here all day. But if not, move on.
If you can troll a question, an intelligent question, that's fine. Just make it an intelligent question.
Okay, so we have people arguing about whether they're going to vote or not. Again, if you don't want to vote for Trump, don't vote for him. You have to have your own conscience, but you're not going to convince me with your words that you're right. I'm going to have to make that decision for myself. And so far, I've made the decision. At this point, I believe I would vote for Trump in the general if I had to over Biden.
Absolutely. And the people who don't are like traitors to America because they're just this one issue person. And we're trying to keep the country going. Keeping the country going is not like trying to keep, I don't know, your own inner being pure. The country's a mess. And so you just don't straighten it up in one, like you have this one perfect candidate. You have to give some a little bit of slack to these guys. The Trumps, the DeSantises, the people. They're not gonna fulfill every wish.
Yeah,
this is like trying to talk to children here who go away pouting because their candidate doesn't fulfill all their wishes.
But you mentioned, Patrick, how do you become the head?
Yes.
If we're not out voting, I don't know how we're going to become the head as far as a movement, a conservative.
Exactly.
Well, you become the head. Yeah, part of becoming the head obviously is voting.
Right.
If you're not voting, you are assenting to whatever.
You'll become the tail. Unless you're for the party that comes into power.
I don't care how pure you are. If you don't vote and not enough people vote, we'll be put into slavery.
Yeah.
Now, Ted brings up something, and I was trying to. I got to keep on a little bit longer here because there's good stuff here, and stuff has to be answered, I think. Ted brings up a good question. This is what's good about questions, because it makes you think. Without the grace of God through Christ, we can't and don't keep the commandments. What do you guys say about that?
100% agree with that.
100% true, of course. Tell me if I don't know, Ted.
Yeah, it's not with your will. It's with the grace of God, a power that comes into you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not our will. It is his will that flows.
Although keep in mind that God was also, I mean, I want to agree with you guys, and I do to a certain point, but God was talking to the Israelites back in the day before Christ was even born. And the Jews at that point, at some point, they had control of their own, country. They had Jerusalem. Until they disobeyed God, they had the power to obey God even without Christ being there yet.
I wanted to talk about that because you're right. And talking
really.
about
what?
Not really.
Wait, one at a time. GENARO, go ahead, and then Martin, go.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. Following the God's law, just the written law, just following it in itself, and doing the, not doing the do's and there's the do's and the don'ts in religion, in Christian religion. Just following that in itself keeps you out of trouble, even if you don't have grace. Even grace has not come upon you. If you're not lying,
you have enough sense, at least not to do the basics.
They still protect you, and that's what's the interesting thing about just you mentioned, it has to be grace, and it has to be just merely following the laws.
There is a mystery there, and I do want to hear the other side to this, but I just lost Martin again, because I know Martin's going to talk about you can't. He's going to be kind of like say what Ted said. Well, you have to have the grace to do it, but again, Martin, I'm going to let you say something, because I know you want to talk about grace and all that, and you probably don't agree with what was said. Well, let me just hear what you said, because I want to get to the bottom of this, at least open it up as much as we can. Go ahead, Martin.
Yeah. When you sit down to be still, and you've gone through the pain of yourself, and you become humbled, you're going to be doing things to you're going to be doing action. You're going to be taking action because you want other people to have the life that you have now.
I know that, and you know that, and we've talked about that. But what we're talking about here,
to go out there and
I want you for a moment to step out of yourself and look at the other side of this, which is God told the Israelites this at a time where they did have the power to control. They worshiped God. They had their Jerusalem. They had the Ark of the Covenant. Well, maybe because they had the Ark of the Covenant, because they had the Spirit of God there in the temple. Maybe that gave them the power.
They had the commandments too.
They had the commandments. They had God in the temple physically, right? But there's a time where they turned away from that. So maybe it's because they had God with them physically in the temple there, because they did have him there.
That's correct.
Maybe that I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, because if you don't have God within, and they didn't, the Israelites didn't have him within, they had him without.
Yeah.
And so it was easy for them to make the golden calf. As soon as God turned his back on them, they made the golden calf. They did all kind of crazy stuff that they weren't supposed to do.
Right, but it was easy for them to follow for a while too, because he was there at least outwardly. Correct. Okay, I got you. Go ahead, GENARO.
Well, they actually did have God. They just didn't realize that they had God. They didn't come to an agreement. They had not been taught the way to awaken to God. What they were taught was the law, and the law does keep you out of the trouble if you manage, to whatever will that you have. And you may say you have. Go ahead.
But Paul the Apostle said, "Look, let's not get all back into the law thing, because as Jews we want to keep the law."
No, yeah. I was about to say, in grace, it was, it say the law came to Moses and grace came to Jesus.
That's right.
It's like a prison, right? The Ten Commandments, you can kind of try to follow them by will or whatever to some extent. At least what the right thing is,
and you reap whatever effort that you
manage. God knows your heart, right? Brian, I shouldn't do this to Fabian, but he's cast his vote for Trump in 2024, clearly, as Martin has. All right, let me get a few more comments, and then I think we're out here. I think you're doing the best job he knows how to do. He's talking about Trump. I think he's doing the best job he knows how to do. Well, yeah, a lot of people are who are also not, a lot of people are doing that and still sinning, of course. But yeah, I think he's doing the best he can. I think we agree that he's not a globalist? If he is, he's a very good faker at it, and he's faking that he's with them.
Withdrew from the Paris Accord. very nationalist, very much a nationalist.
Yeah. Chandra Jeet says the average person is 6 shots down already. Now we have monkeypox. Just saying. Yeah, it's getting really crazy.
Hey,
I haven't got too much into monkeypox.
Hey,
I don't know if you guys have.
Yes, go ahead, Martin.
Is Laser Chick out there?
No, I don't see Laser Chick. But you can do a call out to her if you want.
Well, I just wanted to thank her for the protocol, the cancer protocol. I'm practicing it now.
Man, Fabian is okay. Thank you. Fabian is so good at asking the next question that makes me put his stuff back up there. Fabian, you're a genius at question answering. You are the question asking king of the known universe, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, here's one. This is kind of interesting. He's throwing a monkey wrench into this. No monkeypox jokes here. So he says, if this ends up being the mark of the beast, will you vote for Trump?
No.
That's a very good question.
If it's truly the mark of the beast, of course I won't vote for it. But that's the thing,
Well, you know what? It's actually a good question.
Of course, I'll still vote for Trump. What would I do then? Vote for Biden instead, just because there's some mark of the beast that you made up here? Come on.
In fairness to.
Biden wouldn't usher in the beast. Biden wouldn't usher in the beast if well, I guess they both would. They're both.
Well, in fairness to Fabian, what he's saying is if the shot is the mark of the beast, and it could be. It's certainly possible. I'm not going to.
The shot's not the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast will be on the forehead or the hand.
I don't know that the shot itself is, but there's some weird stuff about the shot for sure. It's it's bad. It's very bad.
In the Bible, the prophet, that Revelation says that it will not allow you to buy and sell, and that is something that's happening.
Well, they're coming towards that.
Computer chip.
In California, it's hard for you to get a job.
Yeah, you got to get the shot in order to. It is connected to the mark of the beast in a way.
And it's close to it, but it's not a computer chip. The computer chip that will be put in your forehead and your hand, that's what we've got to be watching out for, because Elon Musk is working on that as we speak.
He is. And a lot of you guys are telling me what a hero he is. And I'm telling you.
It's the same thing, Patrick. It's like, Musk he's not a perfect, just like Trump.
Well, he's beyond not perfect. And so is Trump in this way. He's connected to something very evil, which Trump is. And Elon Musk is, because he's going to be introducing, which we can get into on other shows maybe, but he's going to be introducing, he's already been working on this idea of this thing that's in the brain.
Neuralink.
Yeah.
Neuralink.
So that what the evil part of Neuralink is, obviously, to me, that how people now, they look for their answers on their smartphone.
Yeah.
He's just trying to make it more easy for them so they can get it out of their own brain. The problem with that is our answers should first come from God. We should be looking within for answers first. We're not supposed to be looking to Google phones for every single answer that comes up in our lives.
Yeah.
It's just going to be,
That's a good word, Patrick. It's ghoulish, man.
Ghoulish. I like that.
Putting a computer chip in your head or your hand. That's like zombie stuff.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. George Crackilla says, George Washington says, as long as I hold a corporal's command, I shall make some endeavor. Okay. I don't know what that relates to, but okay. Okay. He blocked somebody. Good. Thank you, Mind Over Energy. Doing your job. Let's see. So Jim Turner seems to be on this path. I think he's joined. Fabian and him, I think, have a lot in common as far as this. No matter what we do, we're kind of on the path to the end kind of thing. Jim says all it changes is the curses we are going to receive next. I don't know. It doesn't sound real positive, but we are being cursed. All I'm saying is, I don't believe we have to be part of the national. I mean, we're all part of it to some extent because we're here, but we don't have to follow in with all this stuff and just have a life of curses. Your life can be a blessing. It doesn't have to be a curse. We're not all going to be cursed with. We all have to suffer the consequences of what happens in our country, but we don't all have to follow every single curse.
You know what? I agree with that. I would be really concerned in November. It doesn't go down the way it's expected, and somehow, some way, There's a huge suspicion of mass fraud, but the Republicans' weakness unable to do anything about it anyway. And you just see a total reverse of what we expected. I would be really concerned that we are now approaching the really dark times, even darker.
I agree. I'm not saying we're not. I'm not saying we're not. Fabian, you might as well been on the show tonight because your picture is here constantly. I think the devil wants us either for or against Trump or for the Dems. Belief that will help now. Same goat, different horns. Well, again, I'm going to say that I'm going to pick the guy who is going to cause less death and destruction to my country.
No,
okay?
Trump is more than just not causing the least amount of death. It's not like you're voting for either Biden or Harris. You're voting for either Biden or Trump.
I'm just saying he's for some stuff that's bad, which is the shots. But I'm saying that if it's going to save lives, I'm going to go, and I'm not putting my life behind the person. I'm taking the better of the choices that I'm given. If I'm only given a choice of these two or nothing, I'm going to take that choice. All right. Fabian, I don't care how great your questions are. You are banned the rest of the night. I'm kind of kidding with you, but I've taken so many of your questions that I can't take any more Fabian questions. Brian says, who cares if we're in the last days? Just do what you see is right today. Amen, Brian. Isn't that right? How do you argue with that?
You don't.
You don't argue with that.
Don't.
All right. No faithful person can be part of Trump cult. Okay. No one talked about his cult. I'm not part of his cult. Thank you. All right. You aren't baptized. You aren't getting in. Deus, whatever that means. Okay. Okay. I'm not answering that, Fabian. I have to purposely not answer more Fabian stuff. You understand that because I can only answer so many stuff. And I've got so many more of his stuff than anybody else's tonight. Okay. Let's see. I'm just scanning here. Sorry, guys. It's probably not the most riveting. We're almost done. I'm just scanning the last things here. Okay. Okay. We just have people arguing with each other about the last days and stuff.
That's a good subject too. Are we in the last days?
On the
Book
of Revelation.
What's that?
Maybe you should do a show on the Book of Revelation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of shows I'd like to do. I just wrote that down. We'll probably have to do another one. Okay, we just got lots of people arguing back and forth about the same old stuff.
You are an instigator.
I'm not trying to instigate people here. We're just talking.
Well, actually, I am trying to get. I'm instigating people. I'm trying to get them to consider things. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm trying to get them to consider things too. But we're not. Hopefully, we're not instigating for the sake of it, because that is the religion of the day today. Just getting people in different groups against each other and all that kind of stuff. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah. Strife gets a lot of clicks. It gets a lot of clicks.
Yeah, it really does. It's really ridiculous too. All right. David said we almost become Fabian socialists. That's the last joke of the night. Okay. Good. That is funny. You get the last word, David. Guys, you want anything else? Anything else? Last word for you guys, and we're gonna wrap.
Go ahead, Martin.
Great. I had a great time, Patrick. I hope we entertained and informed and edified people, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin. Great addition. GENARO.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity. I enjoyed the topic. I hope that we can generate a lot of conversations about this on your future podcast. There's a lot of great things that the audience, I think, would like to hear. The Revelation one is one, and maybe the Trinity. Do you believe in God, Jesus? Do you believe that Jesus is God? Questions like that.
There's a lot of that one gets a lot of
whether Jesus is God,
because I have people who are Catholics that watch. I have people who definitely believe in the Trinity because I grew up that way. Yeah. And there's a lot of talk about that.
But that's really interesting conversations too. In a very
It is, and I think it's kind of a deep subject. I think Ted has mentioned that the Trinity, it's not because of Jesus. I'm just my little thing I'm going to say at the end here. Because of Jesus's relationship with his Father is so close, and he was here at the beginning of time with his Father.
Right.
It's not your typical son. Like you grow to be about 30 years old, then you pop a son out. Your wife pops a son out. It's a little different than that. He didn't have a wife. He had a son that was there from the beginning. The closeness.
But God created Jesus, right?
Yes.
As far as I know, yeah. But the connection between Jesus, God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit is very, very tight. So it's understandable, especially the way that the Bible speaks about things in certain parts of the Bible. It's understandable why people would believe that Jesus and God are the same. It can be talked about, and we should probably talk about it on a show at some point.
Yeah, because they have verses, and the other side has verses, so we can go.
But I don't also want to have something that ultimately is not really provable, and you're just going to have people arguing over here and people over here. And there's reasons why I believe it's important that Jesus is seen as the Son of God and not God. This is my personal thing, and I would like to discuss that. Why I believe, why it's important to see Jesus as the Son of God. I'm writing this down as I speak here.
And we would like to open. I think that you should open it to opposing. There's a lot of people out there.
Of course.
I want to hear their best arguments.
I will. Let me say it now at the end of the show. Yeah. If you would like to come on, Fabian's baiting me again at the end of the show. Yeah, right. Ted says it has to be revealed to you who Jesus is. Right. I think that's true. Although I think it can be talked about. It doesn't mean it can't be discussed. But ultimately, you can't force. All the stuff does. Even whether you think you should vote for Trump or not, whether you're giving into the devil if you vote for Trump or not, that has to be revealed for you. Nobody can really ultimately tell you that and just kind of drive it. We have to be willing to let our will go and not make it a thing of I'm going to make someone believe as I do. You got to have a back off point. You got to take your foot off the accelerator at some point and let people have their space to make up their minds about things. Otherwise, they're just some extension of you is all they are.
Well, the world makes up their mind, but the Christian allows himself to be, allows God to reveal the answer to them.
Yeah, that's right. That's great. I like that. Very, very well said.
Yeah.
All right, Miyagi. Thanks for running away. Now, you just walked away in the middle of the show. Not in the middle of the show. We're at the end. All right. Thank you. It's obvious he is not. I don't know. Well, Fabian, again, give people a chance to come to their own conclusions. Again, and you're going to say you're not pushing people, but it comes across if your will is involved. It does to me anyway. Anyway, I want to thank Mind Over Energy for holding down the chat, keeping people, jailing them when necessary, kicking them out of the country if necessary, or encouraging them if necessary. I want to thank everybody, including my friend Fabian, who could have been here, he couldn't have been here because he had to work. But I tried to get him in as much as I could. And Ted and Brian and Jim Turner, who I disagree with most points, but I still appreciate you. David Cracchiolo was here. Gail Spurlak. We're interesting. She said something. I'm going to put her, just because she's here and I didn't see her comment, I'm going to put it up. She said, if we're in Revelation times, we need to save as many as people as possible. I agree. Sounds like Fabian is saying that we should stop trying. I don't think he's saying to stop trying, but it does kind of sound like that. But I know Fabian's heart and mind, and I don't believe he's saying that. I think he wants to save as many people as he can. All right. Thank you, all of you guys, for being here. And we got a lot of stuff that I want to do, other things I want to talk about that don't get talked about hardly at all. I just put Mind Over Energy here. I didn't mean to put that on there. Sorry about that. I was looking somewhere else and I pushed the wrong button. Forgive me
you
for
put a backfight up there.
Yeah, forgive me for any of the errors I made here. But there's a lot of things I want to talk about. A lot of them never do get talked about. Some of them do, but I want it to be open. If you want to be on the show, you're welcome to come on. I mean, talk to me first. I want to be able to talk to you, and and put you on. You can get in touch with me. Go to info@oldschoolus.com, info@oldschoolus.com. Go to oldschoolus.com to help out, to help donate, to see what else we're doing. Natural health, success, and freedom. And you can help out by making a one-time donation or even one time per month if you can. We appreciate that. We'll put it into getting stuff, hopefully, that helps us stay on the air without getting losing our thing so much. I don't know. That'll be one thing we should probably do. Sergeant Francis is on YouTube. Sergeant Francis, go to YouTube for Sergeant Francis. See all his YouTubes when he makes them. I don't think he made anything recently, but maybe he will coming soon. If you want to talk to Martin, contact him at sergeantfrancis@gmail.com, sergeantfrancis@gmail.com. If you would like to contact GENARO, and thank you again, GENARO, for coming on. If I didn't say that already, really appreciate you.
No problem. If anybody has any real estate question, you can contact me at that email.
Oh, real estate too, yeah, because he knows.
I'm a licensed real estate agent, and that's just something that I do also on the side. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to email me.
Very good. And GENARO's a hard worker, and he will get the answers for you, and he will get the job done. Believe me, he's a good dude. And that's it. If you want to find out more about meditation, Christian meditation, go to antidoteforall.com. I've promoted that a lot tonight. Some people won't like that, but I think it's important. And again, I think you should do some type, add to your toolbox, spiritual toolbox, your weapon box, as I think Jim wanted to say, your weapon box. I strongly suggest that you add some type of meditation. Look into antidoteforall.com, or at least start with the basics of being still to start with. It's very, very important to see what's going on in your own mind and your own heart. And it'll be very enlightening, and there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's only good to be quiet. Nobody has ever been hurt by being quiet.
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I know there's new comments, but I'd be here all night if I keep reading the new ones. So I'll have to read them later and get back to whatever ones I can. God bless you guys, and have a great week. And let me know if there's anything you guys want to talk about, or any particular people that you'd like to see on the show, whether they agree with me or disagree. We're happy to have agreeers and disagreeers. Anyway, good night, everybody. Have a great Saturday night. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time.